Dad gets it in the head. Oh, it's just a Halloween prop.
The 1960s brought some truly innovative toys, but not all were safe. From the Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab, which let children experiment with radioactive materials, to the dangerous lawn darts. What made these toys so reckless? Join us as we explore the 25 most dangerous 1960s toys that are banned forever. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab was a science kit for children to explore radiation. The A.C. Gilbert Company created it with real radioactive materials, such as uranium ore, a Geiger counter, and tools for observing nuclear reactions. The kit aimed to teach kids about atomic energy, featuring a cloud chamber to view particles and a comic book explaining nuclear fission. Despite its educational purpose, the kit posed serious health risks. Handling radioactive materials, even in small amounts, could cause harmful exposure.
As well as their children, dog, and friends who all explain the basics of atomic energy.
Due to safety concerns and its high cost, the kit was pulled from the market in 1951, just a year after its release, with only about 5,000 units sold. The A.C. Gilbert Company went bankrupt in 1967 after its founder died in 1961. The Gilbert U-238 Atomic Energy Lab taught kids about radiation. But what about other dangerous toys from the past? Let's explore lawn darts next. Lawn darts, known as jarts, was a popular outdoor game in the 1960s. These large darts, made by companies like Sears, had metal tips and plastic fins. The game involved throwing the darts into plastic rings placed on the ground, much like horseshoes. While exciting and competitive, the sharp, heavy tips were very dangerous.
They're totally dangerous. I just scored these off Craigslist. Oops, did I just incriminate myself?
Missing the target could result in serious injuries, especially to the face or eyes. Between 1978 and 1987, more than 6,700 injuries were reported in the United States, many of them involving children. Some even led to deaths. In 1988, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission banned lawn darts because of their risks. Canada followed with a similar ban in 1989. Today, safer game versions, such as soft-tipped darts, are available. The Easy Bake Oven became a favorite toy for young bakers in the 1960s. It was introduced by Kenner Products, which used a 100-watt incandescent light bulb to heat up and bake small cakes and cookies. The design allowed children to bake, which was both entertaining and educational.
I love my Easy Bake Oven.
Do you know how to work it and all?
Of course, you just put the Easy Bake mix in here.
Unfortunately, the light bulb was exposed, making it very hot and a serious fire risk if the oven was left unattended or if flammable materials were near it. As incidents of burns and fires were reported, safety concerns grew. By the 1970s, Kenner, later acquired by Hasbro, redesigned the oven to include safer heating elements. A major recall in 2007 led to further improvements, and newer models now meet strict safety standards. Chemistry sets were popular toys for curious children made by companies like A.C. Gilbert and Porter Chemical Company. These kits included various chemicals and equipment for conducting experiments at home.
Practiced by the ancients thousands of years ago, steeped in mysticism and superstition, developed by
Some substances in the sets were toxic or flammable, such as sulfuric acid, potassium permanganate, and even small amounts of radioactive materials. The kits were meant to inspire future scientists but lacked important safety features, creating serious risks. Children could easily mishandle the chemicals, leading to burns, explosions, or poisoning. As people became more aware of the dangers, new safety laws were introduced, removing many harmful chemicals. Modern chemistry sets are now safer, using non-toxic materials and clear safety instructions. The swinging monkey toy was a popular item for children in the 1960s. It was made by different toy companies and had a monkey that could swing back and forth when hung up. The monkey was attached to sharp metal hooks, making it swing and creating serious risks.
Over he goes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over he goes.
If the hooks were not secured well, they could come off and cause harm. The sharp edges of the hooks could cut or pierce a child's skin. Reports of accidents led to worries from parents and safety groups. In response, stricter safety rules were implemented, and many dangerous toys were taken off the shelves. Toy companies started creating safer products with rounded edges and secure attachments. Were toy guns the next big safety concern? Let's explore the dangers of toy machine guns. In the 1960s, toy machine guns that used caps became popular with children. Companies like Mattel made these toys, including the Tommy Burst model. These toy guns would use small explosive caps to make loud sounds and release smoke, making them exciting for kids who liked playing soldiers or cops and robbers, but the explosive caps were dangerous.
Flip up the sight, pull back the bolt, and fire.
The loud bangs could damage hearing, and the small explosions could cause burns or other injuries if not handled carefully. As reports of accidents grew, parents and safety groups became more concerned. By the end of the 1960s, stricter safety rules were implemented, and many of these toys were taken off the shelves. Manufacturers began making safer toys without explosive materials. Mattel continues to make toys with a focus on safety. In the 1960s, many toys were painted with lead-based paint because it was bright and lasted longer. Using this type of paint, companies like Mattel and Fisher-Price made toys such as cars and dolls. Lead is harmful. If children chewed or swallowed the paint, it could cause lead poisoning.
The lead is used as the coloring agent.
The results?
All of them were clean. There are slight amounts of lead, but that's to be our instrument is very sensitive.
This could lead to serious health problems like developmental delays, learning difficulties, and brain damage. Despite knowing the dangers, it wasn't until research and public pressure in the 1960s and 1970s that rules started changing. In 1978, the U.S. banned lead-based paint in toys. Manufacturers switched to safer, non-toxic paints to follow the new rules. Companies like Mattel and Fisher-Price still make toys but now meet strict safety standards. Rock'em Sock'em Robots became a popular toy for children in the 1960s. Made by the Marx Toy Company, it was released in 1964 and was a two-player game where kids controlled two plastic robots.
A right to the jaw.
My block is knocked off!
But you can press it back on again. Press this lever, he throws a right.
Red Rocker and Blue Bomber to mimic a boxing match. The objective was to knock off the opponent's robot's head by pressing buttons that made the robot punch. While the game was exciting, there were safety concerns. The robots and base's hard plastic parts could cause injury if thrown or mishandled. Reports of children getting hurt raised worries about safety. As a result, the toy was redesigned with softer materials and improved safety features. Now produced by Mattel, the robots meet modern safety standards and are still available. While Rock'em Sock'em Robots faced safety concerns, did other toys face similar issues? Let's explore the next toy sensation. Spud guns were popular in the 1960s and were made by companies like Lone Star. These small guns used raw potato pieces as ammunition. Children would press the barrel into a potato to create a small pellet to use the gun, then squeeze the trigger to shoot it using air pressure. While it was an exciting toy, it carried serious risks. If fired incorrectly or at close range, the potato pieces could cause eye injuries.
His hand to see how powerful this is. Ow! Smoke.
As accidents and injuries increased, parents and safety groups raised concerns. By the end of the 1960s, stricter safety rules were implemented and many dangerous toys were removed from stores. Manufacturers started making safer alternatives, like soft foam dart guns. Lone Star no longer exists, but enthusiasts still collect Spud guns. The Fireball 500 was a dangerous toy that looked like a ball of fire. It was made by different companies and was filled with materials that could catch fire. When lit, it created a dramatic effect, but it was risky because the flammable contents could easily burn a child if mishandled or set off unexpectedly. Accidents and injuries from the toy raised concerns among parents and safety groups. By the late 1960s, new safety rules were introduced, and many risky toys were pulled from shelves. Toy makers began creating safer versions without flammable materials. The companies behind the Fireball 500 either changed what they did or went out of business, and the toy is now remembered as a dangerous product from the past. Cap guns with large caps were popular toys for children in the 1960s. Companies like Mattel and Marx Toys made these realistic guns that used explosive caps to make loud bangs and smoke. The caps were small discs containing a tiny amount of gunpowder that exploded when hit by the gun's hammer.
Oh wow, it's working really nicely, as you can see. It's awesome when you get things to work.
These toys were exciting for kids who liked to pretend they were soldiers or cowboys. Despite their appeal, they were dangerous. The loud noises could harm hearing, and the metal parts could cause injuries if the guns were used roughly. There were also risks of burns from the exploding caps. As accidents and injuries increased, stricter safety rules were introduced, and the dangerous toys were pulled from shelves. Mattel and Marx now design safer toys that meet modern safety standards. In the late 1960s, clackers, also called clack-clack balls, became a popular toy. These toys were made of two hard plastic balls connected by a string. When the balls swung up and down, they hit each other, loudly clacking. While the toy was exciting, it had serious safety risks. The plastic balls could break on impact, sending sharp pieces flying which could hurt someone's face or eyes.
The first problem for which was to decide on a standard test for the clacker balls.
As reports of injuries grew, parents and safety experts became concerned. By the early 1970s, the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission labeled clackers as a mechanical hazard, and they were taken off the market. Attempts to make the toy safer were unsuccessful, and the original version was banned because of its dangers. Could toys like these get any more dangerous? Let's explore slime-filled toys next. In the 1960s, slime-filled toys became popular among children, with companies like Mattel making them. These toys included slime made from different materials. While the slime was enjoyable to play with, it sometimes contained harmful chemical like lead, which could be dangerous if children touched or swallowed it. Exposure to lead can cause serious health problems such as developmental delays and brain damage. The slime was sold in small plastic containers and was marketed as a stretchy, gooey substance for pranks and play. There were few safety rules then, so these toys were only sometimes safe for kids.
When Slime It's Alive comes sliding by, you can look it in the eye. It's Slime It's Alive, and what do when two plastic eyeballs go?
As reports of illnesses spread, stricter safety regulations were implemented, and many harmful toys were taken off the market. Mattel now makes sure its toys follow modern safety standards. Scalextric electric cars became a popular toy among children in the 1960s. Produced by Mini Models Limited and later bought by Hornby, these small electric cars raced on slotted tracks powered by electric motors.
In practice, slot car racing looks deceptively simple. You simply put your car in the slot and push the button and watch it go. But after that, it's not so simple.
Players controlled the cars using handheld plungers, allowing them to race around complex tracks. While these toys were exciting, they had serious safety concerns. The electric motors and exposed wires could break down, leading to electric shocks or burn risks. The tracks could also overheat, creating a fire hazard. Parents and safety advocates raised concerns as reports of accidents and injuries grew. By the late 1960s, stricter safety rules were introduced, and manufacturers improved the designs to make the toys safer, including better insulation for wires and safer power supplies. Scalextric is still a well-known brand and is currently owned by Hornby Hobbies. Jumping jacks were a popular toy for children in the 1960s. These toys were made by companies like Fisher-Price and had figures with limbs that moved thanks to springs. When a string was pulled, the springs would contract and then release, making the figure jump or move. Although the toy was entertaining, it had serious safety problems. The springs needed a lot of force to work, and if they broke, they could snap back unexpectedly. The metal parts also had sharp edges, which could cause cuts or puncture wounds. As reports of injuries grew, parents and safety advocates raised concerns. The late 1960s introduced stricter safety rules, removing unsafe toys from the market. Fisher-Price still makes toys, making sure they follow modern safety standards. Penny Dreadful fireworks were small, cheap fireworks sold around bonfire night. They were popular because they were easy to buy, making them a common choice for children. These fireworks were made poorly, which caused them to explode easily in children's hands, leading to serious injuries or burns. The fireworks could go off without warning, making them especially dangerous. As reports of accidents grew, parents and safety groups became more concerned. This led to stricter safety rules in the late 1960s, and many of these fireworks were taken off the market. Safer options became available for celebrations, and the companies that made Penny Dreadful fireworks either shifted to other products or closed down. Could dangerous toys like these be the reason for stricter safety rules? Let's explore how vacuum-formed plastic kits sparked similar concerns.
Look at the things it'll make for you. One kit you buy will fill a zoo, and this new kit makes trucks for you.
In the 1960s, vacuum-formed plastic kits became popular toys that allowed children to create plastic models. One well-known kit was the Mattel Vac-U-Form, which used a heating element to soften plastic sheets. These sheets were then shaped using a vacuum. While the toy encouraged creativity, it came with serious risks. The heating element could get extremely hot and, if not handled properly, could cause severe burns. This led to concerns about safety.
Look at the things it'll make for you. One kit you buy will fill a zoo, and this new kit makes trucks for you.
With reports of injuries from burns and other accidents. By the late 1960s, safety regulations were introduced, and many dangerous toys were removed from shelves. Manufacturers started designing safer alternatives that didn't involve high heat. Mattel still makes toys today, ensuring they meet strict safety standards.
They put an edge on ninja stars. These ninja stars are getting sharper by skilled metal workers.
In the 1960s, Shuriken, Ninja Star, toys became popular with children interested in ninja culture. These toys were made by different companies and were designed to look like real ninja throwing stars. They were made from metal or hard plastic, with sharp edges and points, making them look realistic and dangerous. When thrown, these toys could easily cause cuts or puncture wounds, posing a serious risk to children. Reports of injuries raised concerns among parents and safety advocates, leading to new safety rules. By the late 1960s, many dangerous toys were removed from store shelves. Manufacturers began creating safer alternatives, such as foam or rubber shurikens, to prevent harm. The companies that made these toys either changed their focus or closed down. In the 1960s, plaster kits for making sculptures and models were popular among children. Companies like American Art Clay Company made these kits, which included plaster of Paris and various molds. Unfortunately, the plaster sometimes contained harmful substances, such as lead. If children swallowed plaster dust or put their hands in their mouths after using it, they could get lead poisoning. This could cause serious health problems, including developmental delays and damage to the brain. The lack of safety instructions and protective gear made these kits even more dangerous. As reports of illnesses grew, safety regulations became stricter, and many of these kits were taken off the market. Manufacturers started making safer, non-toxic alternatives to protect children's health.
This is a slime monster. The slime runs out of his mouth. This is the slime monster game, where you slime the...
Toxic gel slime became a popular toy for children in the 1960s, produced by companies like Mattel. These slime toys were gooey and enjoyable to play with, but they contained harmful chemicals like formaldehyde. Children who swallowed or absorbed the slime through their skin could face serious health risks. Formaldehyde is a dangerous chemical that can lead to breathing problems, skin irritation, and other severe health issues with long-term exposure.
This is a slime monster. The slime runs out of his mouth. This is the slime monster game, where you slime the other players with the monster.
At the time, safety regulations were not strict, which meant the toys were not always safe for kids. Reports of children getting sick sparked concern among parents and safety advocates. In the 1970s, stricter safety rules were implemented, and many of these toys were removed from the market. Mattel now ensures that its toys meet current safety standards. Toxic gel. Slime poses serious health risks, but what about candy? Let's explore the dangers of exploding pops next. Exploding Pops was a popular candy toy that amazed children with a fizzy, popping sensation in their mouths. These candies were made by different companies and contained small gas bubbles that burst when they came into contact with saliva. This created a thrilling experience. But some versions of Exploding Pops had chemicals that could cause burns or choking hazards if not eaten carefully. The lack of safety regulations at the time made these candies unsafe for kids, and there were reports of injuries. As a result, stricter safety rules were introduced, and many dangerous candies were pulled from the market. Companies then began to create safer alternatives that provided a similar experience without the risks. The companies that made Exploding Pops have since changed their focus or stopped making candy. Flying discs, also known as flinger toys, became popular as outdoor toys in the 1960s. Companies like Wham-O made these hard plastic discs designed for throwing and catching. The discs could travel long distances, making them great for games, but the hard plastic made them dangerous. If thrown too hard, they could cause serious injuries, especially to the eyes. Some models had sharp edges that increased the risk of cuts and bruises. As reports of accidents grew, parents and safety groups became more concerned. By the late 1960s, safety rules became stricter, and many of these toys were removed from the market. Manufacturers started creating safer versions, like softer plastic or foam discs. Wham-O still makes flying discs with modern safety features to protect children. Water rockets became a popular toy for children in the 1960s. These rockets, made by companies like Park Plastics, were filled with water and launched using a hand pump to build pressure. When the pressure was released, the rocket would shoot into the air, offering an exciting and educational experience. Unfortunately, they had serious safety risks. If the pump or rocket didn't work properly, it could launch unexpectedly, causing injuries. The rocket's high-speed flight could hurt children or people nearby, leading to bruises or more severe harm.
Dogs Hydro Rockets feature the new autofill loading system. Just pump it up. The more you pump, the higher they go. Once you've locked in your coordinates, fire!
Reports of such incidents raised concerns among parents and safety experts. By the late 1960s, stricter safety rules were implemented, and many dangerous toys were taken off the shelves. Manufacturers created safer versions with softer materials and better safety features.
Make sure you allow adequate time for each coat to dry before applying the next one. That as you start to draw...
In the 1960s, children used toxic paint kits made by companies like American Art Clay Company. These kits contained harmful chemicals like lead and cadmium, which were used to create bright colors. Inhaling the dust or swallowing the paint could cause serious health problems such as lead or cadmium poisoning. This could lead to developmental delays, brain damage, and kidney issues. There were no strict safety rules then, so these kits were only sometimes safe. As reports of children getting sick grew, parents and safety advocates pushed for change. By the late 1960s, stronger safety laws were implemented and these dangerous kits were taken off the market. Companies now make safer, non-toxic art supplies that meet modern safety standards.
Different people have different methods. I like the hair drying method the best. Yes, it's a little bit more risky, but it also goes faster.
Doll heads with removable parts were popular among children during the 1960s. Companies like Mattel and Ideal Toy Company created these dolls with heads, arms, and legs that could be removed and put back on. This allowed children to mix and match the parts to change the appearance of the dolls.
Heat up this area, slip the neck peg back on, and glue it closed again. However, I felt like I was going to further break the doll, so I ceased that operation.
While this feature made play more interactive, it also created safety risks. The small parts were a choking hazard, especially for young children who might put them in their mouths. Reports of choking accidents led to greater concern and action. By the 1970s, stricter safety rules were implemented and many of these dolls were removed. Manufacturers then began designing toys with better safety features to prevent harm.